Hey everyone. What's today? Today is, oh my goodness, it's Friday. So today
Friday.
is Friday, May 24th. Happy Friday, everyone. And welcome to the Secrets of Stylish Women. My name is Lauren. I am your host, and I am a personal stylist, author, style strategist, podcaster. And today I have a guest. Just before I do the introduction, The Secrets of Stylish Women is a podcast that is dedicated to helping women better understand and really dive deep into topics related to style. So I will be sharing style secrets as well as other secrets related to life because you can't talk about style unless you talk about real life. And sometimes I will have guests. And today I have my second guest,
Hey.
Libre Jones. So I'm actually going to allow Libre to give you some background on who she is and what she does because she's one of these creative people who has like a lot of things that she does and a lot of things that she's talented in. And she and I actually met in December at an entrepreneur conference for women, sponsored by Black Enterprise. So it was a conference for women, and we were taking a break, went outside to a food truck. We were standing online, and Libre liked my skirt. I had on a sequin skirt. So we started talking and we kept in touch, and the rest is history. Welcome, Libre Jones.
Thank you for having me. So I'm Libre, otherwise known as Elle of Beloved Upcycle. So here's my T, that's my logo. Beloved Upcycle is a company that I started last year. I upcycle vintage furniture and I reupholster. I took um, some lessons, several lessons actually, from a master upholsterer to learn how to upholster. And I started, like a lot of people did, with the creative ideas during the pandemic, and it just kind of took off. And I really realized how much I love to do it. I started pouring more into it. And as I learned more about the business side and the creative side, I'm just on a track, and I really just feel like I'm literally in my purpose. I do have a fashion style kind of background. I went to FIT for a little while. I worked in the fashion industry for over a decade, still have very close ties. I'm just a student of fashion. I love when people have their own personal style, just being individual is the way that I express myself. So now that translates into home decor, furniture, vintage pieces. I like to keep the craftsmanship of those older pieces because they were handmade, but I don't like necessarily all the dark wood and the
Mm,
pieces that kind of look like, you know, an old smoking room. I want to. I'm a maximalist, so I want to see color. I want to see
mhm.
sequins, like that skirt you had on when we met. I want everything bedazzled. That's my style, but also I do custom, pieces, so the customer gets what the customer wants.
Okay, that sounds amazing. So, how did you make your transition from fashion into upcycling?
So like I said, I worked in fashion. It seems like a whole other life ago. When I was younger, and I was in FIT for a little while, and there were lots of mom and pop shops at the time. There were not corporations like there are now. The structure wasn't the same. So we didn't have great benefits packages. You literally, it was kind of a grind. What we call market is when all the buyers come to look at whatever line you have. And the showroom that I learned a lot in that was really kind of pivotal for me in the fashion industry was when I worked at the Versace showroom. We had Versace, D&G versus Loro Piana. So it was my first foray into the upper echelon of fashion. And I saw how they made the fashions, how they kind of decided what was going to be hot and not hot, where they would place the clothing, and me being who I am, always looking out for our opportunities. I noticed that there were no stores in the neighborhoods that I lived in, that I played in, that carried these pieces. So Versace, D&G, they were only in Saks. They were in top tier boutiques in other places. You know, it would have been Soho at the time, Palm Beach, Canyon Ranch, those kinds of places. And I asked the question, like I always do in any room that I'm in. Are you guys thinking about people that look like me for the marketing or for purchasing? And I never got such a fast, resounding no. And they're in a lot of problem for me. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to make basically a business case for it. And I know I want to wear these things. I see them. I like things here. I know that people that look like me, my generation, my demographic, should absolutely have the opportunity. And that's a whole other podcast situation. But I kicked in the door waving the 4-4 a little bit.
So how did you get out and how did you make your way to so I know during the pandemic you said you took some classes, but was this always a desire of yours? Like while you were in fashion, did you even think about, going into upcycling? Like how did that whole
I
transition happen?
did not. When I left fashion about 20 years ago, I left it for, it was my regular, day job, but I left about 20 years ago to go into corporate America. I figured when I turned 30, I was like, you know what? You don't have really good benefits. I did have like a 401k, and I thought that that was literally the only kind of responsible thing I was doing. I wasn't investing. I was barely saving. I was just willy nilly with it. And
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Be more responsible. And I kind of closed the door on the creative side to be
Oh, wow.
responsible.
Okay.
And there honestly was a constant ache.
Mhm.
So, I just found smaller, more micro ways to, be creative. But in corporate America, you can't be creative. You literally should look like everybody else to avoid suspicion, right? To not make
Mm.
people nervous, to make people feel like you fit in. So for a very long time, it just felt crushing. You know,
Mm.
I was not obviously, but I was making more money than I was in fashion, and that was the trade off. And I was like, wow, you are for sale. But there's got to be a way that I can bring this creative stuff back into my life. And then I became a mom, and my son, our son, was my focus. And I was like, you know what, you're a mom now. You have to take care of this little one. Your needs can wait. Just hold on. You'll find something to do. So there was working out, there was biking, there were all these fad kinds of things, and then I started getting into. I've always been a thrifter,
Mhm.
always been a thrift shopper. Everywhere I go, national, international, part of my itinerary is I want to go where the people go. I want to eat where the people eat. I want to converse, engage with the actual people in whatever region I'm in. And I want to find the vintage stores, the thrift stores in those areas and see what are they letting go of, basically, because it's still a different view of fashion. For me, I definitely am more street style than anything else. I am from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, customization, one of ones, literally standing out from the crowd is very important to me in my style, and I bring that to the furniture. When we got this home a few years ago, we were in a two-bedroom apartment. It's very different to furnish an entire house
Mhm.
than an apartment. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, but to go from a two-bedroom to a four-bedroom with a living room and a formal dining room and a bigger kitchen, I was like, oh no, I don't. Mm-mm. So I said, you know what? Go back to your roots. Get to thrifting, make it look the way you want it to look. Because we tried the IKEAs, we tried the Restoration Hardware and all those. They're bland for me. They are
Mhm.
devoid of
Mhm.
color. They are devoid of personality to me. And people, they shop the showroom and they'll buy all those pieces and they make up their room. That I don't ever want to buy what's on the
Oh my god.
mannequin and do what the mannequin is doing, no matter
Exactly.
what it is.
Yes, yes, yes. I know. That is a
Yeah,
but you know what? A lot of people don't have the creative
true, true. So
bandwidth to
that's why they hire people like you and people like me
right.
to
Right.
we know how to get it out of them, you know? Because a lot of times they just give up. Like they're like, I don't know what to do. Let me just buy what I see. But we know how to dig in and have those conversations and get people to open up and give us the clues that we need to bring their style to the forefront, whether it's
Mhm.
decor or fashion.
Mhm.
So I found I had older pieces from my grandmother that I wanted to keep. That's a family piece, but it looked like 1944. My house doesn't look like 1944. So I'm like, you know what I can do though? I can paint this, I can sand this, I'm gonna change the hardware, I'm gonna. And I surprised myself with the first piece, and I was like, oh well, hey now, what is this? And then I found more pieces, and I just started kind of customizing. And my
Mhm.
husband and I would have the conversation. All right, what color are we gonna do the dining room? Let me, find something that's gonna go in there, and I'll make it to the specifications, the style that we like. And then I said, you know what? I got two chairs for free. They didn't match with anything that I had, but they were in very good shape
Mhm.
structurally. But the fabric was coming out, the tufting and everything, it needed to be done all the way over. So I said, okay, I'll take it to a reupholster. So I go to a reupholster not far from where I live, and I come in, and the guy does a little, he gives me a little look. Not me, but the furniture piece. And he says, I'll do them for you for $600. It was one chair. He only was looking at one chair, right? And so first off, this part, it
Yeah,
needs to be.
nah.
And then $600, and he gives me a card, and he says, write it down on the back, so when you come back, I'll know the price I gave you. So I let him write it down on the card, and I left, and I put the chair in the car, and I said, first off, that's not his regular price, because he would remember his regular price.
Right, right. That
So
didn't make sense to me.
either he thought he had a Vic, which, the Brooklyn antenna went up. I was like, no, you're not about to make a mark out of me. But I said, no, you know what? And I saw his fabrics that he had in the back. And I was like, do you just choose from these, or could I pick my own? He was like, well, you can look through these, and then we'll see what else. Otherwise, I'll special order. But I know that whole fabric game from being in fashion. I could find the fabric I want myself and bring it to you. But I didn't see anything in there that impressed me. There was not near fabric that I saw that was going to work for what I wanted.
Right.
So coupled with the shoeing and the $600 card situation, I was like, no, I'm going to do this myself. So as luck would have it, there was a booklet that used to come to us to the house. The high school in the area. I'm in New Jersey, South Orange, Newark, South Orange. So it's Columbia High School. They have like an adult school. So they teach everything from, like, let's say, Excel to gardening
Mhm.
to even vintage thrift shopping. And then
Mhm.
there was a class on reupholstery. So I said, you know what? I'll try it. Right. It was 15 hours of instruction.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, I'll try it for half the price of what the man was going to charge me to do the chair. So I said, all right, first of all, I'm already winning. Now, this man that teaches this class, his name is Danny, master upholsterer. He has been doing this since he was 9. His father was
Wow.
an upholsterer. So he got it honest. And he loves to teach. He's a great teacher. He was so patient with us, and he works with us, and zero cutting of corners. You're going to do it the old school way. You're going to learn the proper way to do it, and it's going to be perfect. Or Danny's going to make you pull every single tack out, take that fabric off, and you're going to do it again. So
Mm.
I took 2 courses, so that's a total of 30 hours of hands-on
Mhm.
instruction with him. So the first day I come to class, I come with my broken chair. I had already figured out the fabric that I wanted to use, the pattern, like everything, my color story, all of that. So it was a custom fabric that I had made, because custom is my middle name. So I had the fabric, I had the seat, the fabric for the back of the seat, which is what you rest your back on and what people see from the back, and then the
Mhm.
seat, two different, like, complementary fabrics. So I showed him the fabrics, and he looked at me and he said, wow, I haven't ever seen anything like this before. You have an eye. And girl, I was off to the races. I was like, me?
That's all you
I
needed to hear.
That was all. I have an eye? Yes, sir. Okay. So I I learned, I followed the instructions. You have 3 hours in class with him where you can ask everything and you write down your steps and he tells you your measurements. And by the time you come back to class, your next steps, and you get home and you continue to work on your piece.
Hmm.
And I have to tell you that when I scour the internet, go to the trim stores, go to the fabric stores, do the research, look at chairs that are similar to mine. I am literally just in heaven. I don't want to do anything else. When I see a wood piece that I can sand and refinish and repaint and give it a whole new life, keeping it out of the landfill. So there's a
Hmm.
sustainability piece to this, and customizing furniture, but also keeping um, family heirloom pieces because back in the day what we had was we had the furniture that somebody made or whatever the piece was because we couldn't afford lots of other things, so you got in the habit of passing things down, making it last, using it for the next generation. So I just really got so much joy out of the transformation of the pieces. I love a good before and after, and this is just a different iteration of it for
Okay.
me.
So that's great. And I know that you have a penchant for vintage pieces.
Yes.
And, we're going to be actually taking a walk down memory lane. And I wouldn't exactly call this vintage, but we're going to be going back in history a little bit to talk about Bridgerton, the most recent
I'm
season.
obsessed. I'm obsessed. So
And I
yes,
know that's right up your alley because
totally.
so I know you love all that style and everything.
I do.
So,
I do.
we did a couple of Instagram lives together and chatted, and you mentioned wanting to have this kind of conversation when, the next season came on. So
Yes. Yes.
this is a great opportunity to fulfill that wish. So we're going to be talking about Bridgerton season 3.
Yes.
Um, Not necessarily just season 3. We're actually going to be looking at this conversation through the lens of Queen Charlotte and some of the nuances associated with her style, including her hair.
Hmm.
So, Libre, I know this is really your bag. So, first of all, I've watched all of the episodes of Bridgerton and Queen Charlotte.
Yes.
So, I'm up to date on, everything that's going on. And actually, I watched the first 4 episodes of season 3 twice. Like, I woke up in
Okay.
the middle of the night and watched them, and then I watched them again the next day because I was like, sometimes you miss little things. I'm like,
Yes.
wait a minute, how did this happen? And how did that? So I
Yeah.
watched it
Yeah.
twice.
Yes.
But I love the series. I think it's great. And I'm looking forward to the next 4 episodes. But I know you wanted to talk specifically about Queen Charlotte's style. So
Yes.
there are 2 different Queen Charlottes, the young Queen Charlotte, and
Yes.
the seasoned Queen Charlotte, the one who has
Yes.
come into
Yes.
her own. And so what are your thoughts about the differences in her style from when she first started out versus, the older version of Queen Charlotte?
Okay. So first, I have to say that I am, in my own mind, a certified Bridgerton expert. Let me just tell you guys who I am. This is a tea. I have the Queen Charlotte tea.
You
I am
have everything,
Bridgerton. Oh my goodness. Bridgerton, Bridgerton,
all
Bridgerton.
kinds
I'm
of
also
memorabilia and whatnot.
all the memorabilia. I'm also the person who, I never thought I was going to be this person, but um in New York, there's lots of cities, but I'm sure that your viewers have heard of Comic-Con, and the people get dressed up in the costumes and they dress like their favorite character. So,
Mhm.
and there's also SantaCon here, specifically in New York and New Jersey. And you get on the train during SantaCon and you're going to see all different kinds of Santa outfits, and they're pissy drunk and they're just out of order, whatever. I'm like, oh my God, like who would dress up like you guys are nuts? Except now that's me. I've been to 2 Bridgerton balls.
Oh, really?
Oh, I have traveled. I traveled to DC for the first one, and there was
Wow.
another one in New York when I got the crown, I got the dress, and I mean, it was a full on experience and I loved it.
So
What I
where'd you get the
loved,
dresses from?
so I got the first outfit, I made up basically from what I had. which should tell you something about my wardrobe. The only thing I had that was kind of Bridgerton branded at the time was I got a Bridgerton kind of tee. One of the
Hmm.
characters is Lady Whistledown, so it was a Lady Whistledown tee. Actually, the t-shirt looks exactly like this.
Okay.
So, and I just put it on with a black blazer, a top hat with, a veil, a fishnet, veil, a tulle skirt, and a good heel and gloves, lace gloves. And I'm in the Regency era, just out of my closet. So that
Okay.
was the first time for, and when we got there, we realized no, people go full out, full costumes, just like what you have on the screen. That's what the people were wearing. So when the time came to go to the New York one, and I went with some other friends, and even my son came with me, I got him all, he had never even seen the show, but he was like, no, I like this outfit. Like, let's go, let's have a good time. And he was totally into it. He looked
Oh, cool, cool.
dashing.
Hmm.
So he was my date for that. And I had on a full on Bridgerton dress, got it right from Amazon. And lucky for me, I might have seen maybe one other person because Amazon, everybody's on Amazon.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
might have seen one other person, but it wasn't, overwhelming. The copying of the outfit. So I was really happy with it, but they really did a good job at kind of recreating one of the balls
Oh, okay.
from the show.
Nice.
And the books, because obviously these are books first. Shonda
Hmm.
Rhimes has reimagined and executive produced a series for Netflix. What I love about it, while I love the Regency time period and the Victorian era and like Queen um, Antoinette's era, is just all the detail, the gilding, the trim on the walls, the fabric on the seats, the rugs, the light shades, like all those things. My eye is all over the place. I will pause and just kind of drink it in.
Hmm.
What I love about Shonda's reimagining, which is what most people love about it, is that we are not the help. In
Hmm.
this time frame, the Regency era is, in the early 1800s. We know what was happening on American soil at this time. And the British, the Spanish, and the Portuguese were full on embroiled in chattel slave trade. But to see this time period where we are central characters, where we are royal, where we are lords and ladies and viscounts, you know, dukes and duchesses, it
And
is,
Queens.
and queens, my bad, and queens. It was wonderful to see because even from the first episode, I was watching, I was totally enthralled, but I just started to notice just in every scene there was a person of color and they
Hmm.
weren't the help. There were
Right.
Asians, there were,
Hmm.
you know, people from India, Indians, there
Hmm.
were black people there. I mean, there was natural hair, there was locks, there was braids, there was wigs, there was everything.
You
And
know what I
it
really loved,
what?
Libre, was the reimagining of songs, like current songs, but
Yes. Yes,
put that to
yes.
the violins and all the other
Right.
instruments of the day. I thought that was cool.
Right.
So I
That was
think
definitely a cool touch. Yeah.
those details are what made it interesting and,
Yes, yes.
fresh,
I mean,
if you
I
will.
think the whole thing was so well done. The story, because also in the first series, it's an interracial couple.
Hmm.
Okay, what the scandal that would have happened
Right.
at that time? They would not have been able to do it, But it really was great to see, and it is what I love about it. And for me, Queen Charlotte is kind of the epicenter of that because she is so grand. She is the queen number one, derived from a real person, and the emphasis on all her regalia because since she's the queen, no dress tops her dress, no pearls top her pearls, no diamonds top her diamonds.
No
You know what I
hair.
mean? And no hair. Uh, the 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 afros, the braids, sometimes there's locks, the curls, just the fact that the cornrows, the
Hmm.
fact that they made that such an integral part, that's something only a black woman would do. Only.
Yeah. And if you look at young Queen Charlotte, you'll
Yes.
see her hair in this, collage right here. And in its natural state.
Yes.
You also see, in some of the earlier images of her, her
Hmm.
hair doesn't have a lot of adornments, so
Yes.
it's about the hairstyle, it's
It's
about
about the
the
hair.
texture.
Absolutely. And
Hmm.
I believe that it is purposeful. I
Hmm.
believe it is the ultimate we see you, I see you, I am you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I feel when I see it, and I think that that is part of why I'm so enamored with it. I mean, the direction is wonderful. I love the cinematography. I love the sets. I love the interiors. All of those things. It is just all top tier for me. And clearly most of the world, because it is a smash hit.
Hmm.
Third season in. And there's been an iteration because Queen Charlotte had her 2 seasons. She's had
Yeah.
her shows, 2 seasons or one.
I
Can't
think
remember.
it was
I've seen them
one.
all.
Yeah.
Is one. Yeah. So I'm projecting because I would like a second if anyone's listening.
Yeah, that
Um,
would be nice. That would be
yeah.
nice.
But one of
Um,
these photos that you have up is
mhm.
Queen Charlotte in the. So for me, it's the top right hand corner. So maybe whoever's looking, it may be top left. I'm not sure, but
Is
she
this
has the headband on at the top row with the big
mhm.
hair, with the big afro. And I'm such a fan that I went to a center in New York City for motion pictures for film, and they had the cast from Queen Charlotte on the panel, and we got to see the first episode before it
Oh,
came out.
nice.
So I was ecstatic. I was with my mother. I was with another good friend. We are all Bridgerton obsessed. And when Queen Charlotte, the young Queen Charlotte, came out for this was part of the wedding scene with her natural afro. I mean, an
Did you lose
audible
your shit?
gasp. I lost it. I was clutching pearls that were not there. I was like, oh, yes. But everyone was stopped in their tracks. It was just a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful sight. And I'm glad that they were on set or they were there, the staff, sorry, not the staff, the cast, to see it and get the actual response.
Reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was I mean chills. It was beautiful because you don't see that, when even some of the older movies that are considered classics, they can be very stereotypical.
Oh
We're
my
not
God.
in positions of
No.
power.
No.
We are not portrayed as beautiful, although portrayed as over sexualized, right? So it's kind of an odd
Either or.
dichotomy.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty
There's
weird.
no in the middle. It's this or
Yeah, there's
that.
no in the middle. And it was, the young Queen Charlotte and Queen Charlotte as an adult is very regal. And there is something about her presence on stage, on the screen, that absolutely lets you know she's nothing to be played with. She ain't one of your little friends. She is about style. She is about class. She is about that old money that she has. And I'm walking in it. I'm not asking for permission.
Hmm.
This is mine. I'm here, and you will address me as the queen. And
Yeah.
that's
So
something that we don't see.
I know. Okay, that's a great point, and it's actually I'm about to say something similar. So it's like
Hmm.
when we talk about representation,
Yes,
even as a grown woman, seeing a Black woman depicted as strong,
yes,
powerful, in control of her power, embracing her power. When she first, was brought over, she had a lot to get used to. She didn't
yes.
understand why she couldn't pick her own fruit off the tree and all
Hmm.
of these things. But you see the evolution, just like with her wardrobe, just like with her hair,
Yes, yes,
everything grows stronger. She comes into her own. So
yes.
just being able to see that, although we don't live in those times, it still gives you a point of reference for a woman who is powerful and who can own her power and
R-
wield it as a weapon. Like she was no
Right.
joke.
Through a journey, because for much of the beginning of the series, the first few episodes, she was just kind of lost and didn't understand it, and once she herself accepted, no, there's a title that I have which says that I can say yes, I can say no, I can make
Mm-hmm.
decisions. And so many of those things are not, we're not empowered, or we're not taught to be empowered. I think now, our generation and even the younger women now, they have more freedom because of what those before us, what our
Mm-hmm.
mothers did, what our grandmothers did, per se. So it really was kind of liberating to see. And the thing that I think is great is that I didn't have this as a young girl, right? I'm a full on adult
Right.
watching this, and I still like, maybe this is
Yes.
what little kids feel like when they saw the Black Little Mermaid. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So for us as adults watching it, I think, young women, 20s and younger, that can see this and see the power um, in these characters, especially the characters of color. It's pivotal, and I absolutely believe that is a major point of what Shonda was trying to do.
And presenting information in new and unconventional ways also prompts curiosity. So
Yes.
I don't know a lot about this period, and I'll be honest with you. I need to brush up on history overall and relearn history, like more
Hmm.
accurate versions of history.
Right. Right.
And I
Right.
actually learn a lot of it organically on social media. To be honest with you,
Hmm. Hmm.
reputable sites that are spitting some facts that we didn't
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
But shows like this make me want to learn more. Going
Mm.
to museums, and I was just speaking to someone else about this, going to museums, and learning history through actually seeing and experiencing art.
Yes.
It makes you learn, or at least me, in a different way. So I think
Hmm.
even creating a show like this will help other people who typically don't engage in this period type stuff or may not normally tune in. It can pique your curiosity and make you want to learn more. So that's another
It
reason why
can.
I love this. Yeah.
It can. I mean, like I said, between, first off, from a style perspective, since you and I talk about fashion all the time, from a style perspective, the the decor, well, not the decor, let's go with the dresses. The fabric, the dresses, the layering, the color combinations, all those things are so visually pleasing. Aesthetically, everything works. So the people in charge of the wardrobe absolutely nail it. And it looks to me like it is the finest, the finest silks, the finest fabrics, the newest things. It looks to me like it's the best of the best. And I think they also do a great job at portraying which families have actual money, which families are poor. Even if you
Through
don't
the
know their
clothing.
backstory, we can tell the difference when we look, because we can see what they're choosing, what colors they're choosing, what fabrics are they're choosing. We're like, oh, they don't have a whole lot of money.
And so we need to take
It's
a little
different
detour.
signaling. Yes.
The Featheringtons, they were a tacky, like borderline cheap, tacky family. And you could tell
Yes.
based on
You
their
can tell.
clothes.
Yeah, the penny pinching, you can tell. And I mean, you can smell the desperation off them, because clearly so could everyone in the balls. They were
Hmm.
just so desperate to get, have one of the daughters bring, a high price. But that also tells you that for the mothers in that era, if
Hmm.
they didn't have fortune, they passed
They had
on
to
that
hustle.
they passed on that anxiety, they passed on
Yeah.
that grief, they passed on those
Oh
lessons
my
to
God.
their
Yes.
daughters. You better bring somebody in here with some money, or we are all finished.
And isn't that
And
crazy having to
yes.
just and it's not that long ago that women couldn't get their own bank accounts and mortgages
Right.
and checking accounts and things like that. But your
Correct.
entire livelihood is dependent on whether a man chooses you or not. How
Literally.
depressing. How depressing.
Literally. First off, exhausting, because they literally have to shape shift
Hmm.
to it's the ultimate in pick me,
Yep.
because
Yes.
because I'm gonna die, basically. I'm gonna be destitute. First off, the social shame that was attached to it. But if you were, perceived as poor, you don't get to those balls. You're not in proper society. You're an
No.
outcast, and you're finished.
Hmm.
the caste system of it was so powerful and
Hmm.
so strong. And now we have, different levels to it. Now it's certainly not then. But it really shows you there's also such a level of conniving that has to
Yes,
happen. Well, not have to, but
it
they
does
choose
essentially.
to, so that they can stay within the circles. They can stay in good
Yes,
standing.
because
Um,
I don't know her name, but Penelope and the other their mother, she had to be
oh
calculating and cold
my
and
goodness, she did.
strategic, to be honest with you. And
She did.
she and also the oh god, what's his name,
Who?
the king.
George?
Yes, George's
Yeah.
mother. She was another one. Like the women
Yes,
really ran the show, if you think about
they
it.
really did.
They pulled the
They did.
strings. They tried to make it seem like the men were in control, but they were the one planting the seeds and
Well,
like
but here's the thing.
strategizing.
The
Hmm.
men couldn't be bothered with their social part, right? They couldn't be bothered. They want to be in the courts with their subjects, discussing what land they were going to colonize next, etc. They didn't have time for all of this, right? So the women were kind of laying the foundation for society. And in that arena, yeah, they were kind of running the show. But I mean, there is an element of Mean Girl. There is an
Oh God,
element of
yes.
ostracizing. There is an element of persnickety that is unrivaled,
Hmm.
because they feel like, and this probably was the case, that you're bringing your whole family line. Don't bring fame upon the family. Don't lose the family fortune. Attain as much as you can, because that's how they got their wealth. And frankly, that's how they got ahead of us so much.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Keeping
Because
things
marriage
kind
was
of
looked at as a business
a
first and
literal
foremost.
business. If he
Hmm.
came from nothing and can offer you nothing, that
Keep it
girl child is
moving.
not marrying him.
Right.
Whether she liked him or not,
Yeah.
it's going to be a good match because financially it works,
And then
or
everyone was expected to
strategically.
get their pleasures satisfied elsewhere. I think that was like
However,
the unspoken
right,
arrangement.
you accepted whatever happened, after when after the consummation, because if they didn't have a consummation, that marriage was not, it didn't count, basically. And then you have the pressure of producing an heir, which also means it had better be a boy child, because what are girls worth? That's everything we know of history then. And the other thing is that in the shows there are several women, young women, older women, that absolutely have their own mind and take ownership of themselves, their thought processes, and make their own decisions. But
Hmm.
those are women who are, at whatever point that we find them, independently wealthy. They don't
Hmm.
have to play the game
Like Madame
anymore.
Delacroix, like
Right.
she doesn't have to fit into
She
society.
doesn't.
She's
Right.
carved out her own lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lady Danbury,
Oh,
she had
she.
that dreadful looking husband.
Oh my God,
And
he was
clearly that
horrible.
was, yeah,
He was a
clearly,
bore.
that was a match, a match, because he had property, et cetera, et cetera. And that title got bestowed on them kind of just because they were the first
Randomly.
brown people, that the
Hmm.
queen saw. So that elevated them almost immediately.
Hmm.
But I'm glad that they showed that backstory. I'm glad that they showed that, at least in for Queen Charlotte, that she did have someone she could kind of lean on,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Yes.
because
Yes. Yes.
her
Yes.
life was maddening and,
Hmm.
ugh, depressing,
And
all of it.
she's like in a new country, new land, new people,
Yeah,
new customs. Like,
no
oh,
support. Her brother left. You're not writing and complaining, because also the marriage is done. They sign it. It doesn't matter how hard, how good. It doesn't matter. It's done. And there's
hmm,
no way to undo it unless
that's
the
right.
man shuns you.
Mm.
Because also they were treating him any
Or
old kind of
kills
way.
you.
Right. That part. Because they were treating the women any old kind of way. Right. Because there were no consequences or
Right.
repercussions. So you had better figure out, get in where you fit in, and stand up for yourself when you can, when it was safe.
Well, we've come a long way since then, right? Still got a
Absolutely.
ways to go, but
Yes.
so let's take a peek at some mature Queen Charlotte looks. And
Yes.
what are your thoughts? What are you thinking when you see these hairstyles?
So I definitely think again, I feel like I did kind of with Lemonade, right? And visually looking at Beyonce's Lemonade, all the visuals that she offered that were a nod to her people,
Hmm.
right? To her tribe. Um, so many things that I recognized, you know? So for this, the hair and is a it's nonverbal. It is a very strong statement. It is I'm taking up space. It's natural. This is me. It's beautiful. It is, I mean, they're full of adornment, but there's braids again, there's afro, there's lock styles, there's cornrows. It's every girl's hair journey at some point or another that look like us, you know.
And then
The only thing I haven't had is
mhm.
locks.
Okay. The adornment of hair. There's always
Hmm.
some elaborate jewels, or
Yes,
to
yes.
the earlier point, she has to have the biggest hair. She has to
She
have
has to have the
the most
biggest hair.
ostentatious, the most regal. Like there's no way that you don't know who is in charge when you
You
see her.
gonna know when she walks in the room, and you could never. When you look at her, it's you could never.
Yo, I love that
And
clip.
I
I thought
love
that was
it.
hilarious.
Yeah, I love it because it stays. Every time she's on screen, you know all the subjects are beneath her. And it's fine. She literally is the Black Queen.
So I think out of all of her accessories, her best accessory is that scowl on her face in the bottom left.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because
It's
she could,
prayers, sorrows.
oh my God, that is the coldest. Like her
Oh,
kids couldn't stand her.
listen, she was ice cold with it. To literally just hit you with sorrows, prayers is a
And
dismissal.
like, they're there. Like,
You know, just like keep it moving. Are we having a baby yet? No. All right, keep it going. She literally just she had no time for feelings
no.
because as a young girl, clearly as we learned that feelings got in the way for her.
She
So it
felt all the
literally was
feelings
about
already.
right. It's literally about the practicality of this life and what she has to do to secure her
Survive.
legacy, right?
Yes.
Secure her children's legacy. This essentially is a royal survival mode.
Yes.
We operate in a different kind of survival mode, but she
Mm-hmm.
has different pressures. She has different situations, but the I also think it's interesting that they show all these different colors of her hair, right? Gray
Mm-hmm.
is a beautiful color. It's not like matronly and haggard and all tired. When the queen does it, it is luxurious, it is beautiful, it is
Distinguished,
lavish.
artful.
Absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Nothing, there's no accessory that is better than her face.
So
Nothing.
I actually, let me stop sharing my screen for a second, and I want to pull something else up that
Okay.
I was going to post on social media, and I want to get your take on this. So we can just keep running our mouths in the meantime while I pull this
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah, yeah,
um,
I love her on screen. And so back to that panel, she was on the panel, as was the young Queen Charlotte. And she said that the hair for her took hours,
really,
and was so heavy.
okay.
Literally, she was like, I'd have like she'd have something propping her neck up for the
Oh my
weight of
goodness.
the hair while they were doing it. So there's not a whole lot of movement. There is slow, deliberate steps when it's the heaviest, biggest hair,
Mm-hmm.
or it's her sitting. But she's like, and it was so hot. She said, I've never had so many wigs, and it's wigs on top of wigs, and it's a whole sculpting situation. But she definitely recognized what it signified to people watching, and especially people that look like her, look like
Mm-hmm.
us. It was beautiful.
Definitely revolutionary.
Absolutely.
So, what say you?
Okay, hold on. Let me get my glasses now. Hold on. It's too far away for me. What you
Is
read it?
it?
Tell me what it says. Yeah, it's too far away for me.
Wait, can you see the pictures?
I can see the pictures because that's
It's
the devil. The devil wears Prada, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah, I just
yes.
can't see. I got
Oh,
old
okay, got it,
eyes,
got
so I
it.
don't see the words. So you tell me what it says at
So
the
it
top.
says
Had
who
the
had the coldest ice grill?
coldest ice grill. I'm giving it to the queen for the coldest ice grill, just because there's a level. She could give you a look, and they're going to behead you. At worst, Devil Wears Prada, you're just going to get fired and kicked out of the showroom. Meryl Streep ain't got nothing on the queen,
All right. All right, just
which
checking.
is sidebar supposed to be Anna Wintour. We all know
Right, right.
that
Yeah.
part. That part.
Um, yeah, so I just got a kick out of the queen's facial expressions.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
just
they
it's
were.
funny to me.
I mean, bombastic side eye. Just it's art. It's a different art form. And
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how she doesn't do it in real life. Like I would want to do that on the two train.
I'm gonna have to practice that in the mirror.
You know what
See
I mean?
how I
Because
can get
that's
my.
an art. That is an art.
But you know what? Sometimes when I'm not even trying to look stink, I look stink. But then,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that resting bitch face.
Yes.
We all got one. We all got one.
All right, cool. So, what else do you want to talk about as it relates to Queen Charlotte and her style, or the style of any other character? So, Penelope had her glow up in season 3.
She definitely had her glow up because the first two seasons,
Ciao,
Bridgerton, it was. I was
tacky.
like, oh my goodness, it was trash. I was like, everything they have is polyester and fluorescent. That's what
You
it was awful.
well, like the material, the fabric that you use for like lining, like that's what it reminded me of. Like
Yes,
super
yes.
shiny and super like.
Uh, Flammable. It all was
Yes,
flammable.
yes.
And then even their interiors were just awful. Like
Oh my goodness.
any room that they were in, I was like, I can't wait till we get to the next scene because I need to see a beautiful couch. I want to see a wonderful
Just
sconce because
tacky.
it's not happening in this house. Yeah, they were
Tacky,
definitely
tacky,
tacky.
tacky.
Um, the Duke from the first season, I
Oh yeah,
loved his
dashing and
style.
dapper.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, he always looked great on scene. He was on brand. And even um not Daphne. Daphne is the one that's friends with
Penelope or
Lady
was.
Whistledown, Penelope. Yeah.
Hmm.
But the oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. But the the love story between the first two,
Oh,
the
Daphne
Duke and yeah. No, that wasn't Daphne, right?
in the first
It
season.
in the first season.
I think it was.
Is it Daphne? Okay. If it is. But her dresses always looked very
Uh,
stylish, very tasteful, also a little regal. It was definitely giving you princess purity vibes. But
I was gonna say
I
they were
like
more simple and definitely
yes,
more,
yes,
yes, on the
yeah,
purity
yeah.
vibe.
Very,
Yep.
very pure, very tasteful, demure. But I like the style of them. For me, they didn't have as much going on as
Right.
I would like,
Hmm.
but it's very clear that the wardrobe kind of gives you a hint of what the character is supposed to be portraying.
That's
So
true.
in season 3, with the girl that was friends with the desperate one that her mother kept like pushing her, like she's got to find someone, she's got to
Cressida.
find someone. Yes, she was not attractive. Her dresses, I mean, they almost hurt me to look at. They were so bad. Everything was just ugly, but I was like, you know what? This matches her personality. She's an ugly old mean girl.
Well,
And that's what her clothes look like.
there's a couple of things of hers that I liked. It looked like she had on this like long tulle coat, like an overcoat, and then
Hmm.
she had something else with interesting sleeves.
Yeah.
But you have a point. Like her stuff was super busy and
Super
super.
busy, just garish, ostentatious. I was like, that, no, get the camera off
Hmm.
her. I could see less of her,
But
but they
but
need
that's
that
the
kind of
power of
character.
clothing. Those were
Absolutely, absolutely.
signals.
They were absolutely signals. And I was picking up what they were putting down, even if I didn't want to pick it up.
So Libre, I know
Yes.
time flies. We've been on this podcast for 49 minutes, right?
Well, we always do this. When we get on, it is just a natural chemistry, Tao. and we just get to chatting.
So what I typically try to do, like I would love for you to give the viewers style secret and a non-style related secret. So
Okay.
we've talked style in the past. This
Yes.
episode, because we dedicated this to Bridgerton, we didn't really go into that, but I would love for
Mhm.
you just to share a style secret and share another secret. It can be about life,
Okay.
whatever.
So, one thing that I like to do, which I think probably, I mean, I can say I think more people should do it, but it's just because it's more economical and what I've learned in the fashion industry and how the commerce of it works. You can put a wonderful, stylish, individual outfit together with stuff from Target with at every level, right? So what I like to do, me personally, is it's called high low. So I'll pick a designer piece and maybe that's the pant or maybe that's the shoe or it's the shirt. And the low is going to be another piece. So just the other day I had on a it was a Ralph Lauren plaid, very summery Madras plaid. He does those classics shirt, and I paired it with a Target pant and Jordans that were along the same color family of what was in the shirt. And I literally got so many compliments just because the way the colors worked together. I literally just looked like summer, you know. But it wasn't all head to toe high level, It
Hmm.
was a Ralph Lauren shirt. The pants came from Target, and the sneakers, they were Jordans, but they're a color that wasn't very popular. I mean, not popular. I mean, I haven't seen
Common.
them. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're not common. They were aubergine color, suede, and I happened to get those at an outlet for $50.
Wow.
But it's not screaming bootleg or tacky. It's all in how you put it together. Because
Hmm.
I'm above. I am this many years old. I'm not spending all my money on clothes.
And it's not necessary. I swear, you
It's
like
not.
someone with no labels can outdress somebody in all labels
It
easily
is if you have an
because of
eye,
taste and
right?
style. Yep.
Absolutely. And style is absolutely a personification. No, not you are the person. Style is an expression of your personality. That's how
Hmm.
I view it.
Yeah,
So,
it's like you're
I'm
bringing
out
it
here in
to
these
life.
streets and I see people and I'm just like, you don't care about anything. You put zero effort in, and maybe it's just that day, you know what I mean? But I'm constantly looking because I'm a visual person. I like to
Hmm.
see, details and color play and all those things. So that's my style secret. I can nail a high low.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
That's a good
and let me
one.
see another secret. So another secret for me, and we're gonna still stay with shopping. I I don't follow the fashion cycle in that
Hmm.
whatever the new season is, I have to go out and I have to get it. Not anymore. I used to when I worked in
Hmm.
fashion, but I figured that game out real quick. But I have figured out what is my style, what I like. I don't care if it's 3 years old. If I go to an outlet and it's there and it's my style, I'm gonna buy it. I am not afraid to choose what works for me. There's plenty of things that people say are fashion or stylish. They don't work for my
Hmm.
body type. Like
Right.
you also
Or
have to know what
lifestyle.
works for your frame. Yeah, or lifestyle. I'm not putting on a heel again. I don't need to.
Not like that. No, I
No,
mean,
not
I'll
like I
do it
used to.
when I want to.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
If I
But
want to.
I'm gonna make it work with some sneakers because that's my love language. I'm gonna make it work with a flat because
A
it
combat
also
boot.
is about comfort, right? It is literally about comfort, but it doesn't have to be ugly. It can still
Right.
be
It's
stylish.
right. The
And
two
we have
can
more choices now
we
because
have more
that
choices.
wasn't the case. Yeah,
That is correct.
you either went for comfort or you
Right.
went for style. And for a long time, and I can see these young ladies out here, or even these guys not trying to crease their sneakers.
Oh my
I can
God.
see these young ladies, and they feet are barking. Oh my God, they are tippy toeing. They are. angry on the inside, and I'm
I've
like,
done
"Oh,
that.
mama,
I've
oh, mama,
suffered
I've done
for
it.
years
I've
and
done it.
years, and
Yep,
I'm not doing it anymore.
I did too. I'm
Sorry.
not doing it anymore.
Not sorry,
I'm
actually.
prayers and sorrows to that. I'm not doing it anymore. I am over it. I'm gonna be cute. I'm gonna be stylish. I'm
In
gonna be
your
an
way.
individual, right? And when I walk in that room, there's nobody else is gonna look like me, no matter what I
Hmm.
have on. Period.
Point blank.
Period. Yeah,
Oh, they
pretty
don't say
much.
point blank anymore, right?
No,
I'm
it's
showing my
period.
age. It's just
Look,
period with a T at the end.
yeah, with a T at the end. That's that. Those are my secrets.
Excellent. So, we're going to be back at some point in time because
Absolutely.
the conversation, keeps flowing and going and all that stuff. So,
And you're coming up. We're about to we
yeah, we
about
have
to
to
have a
get together.
hangout summer. We're doing some
Hmm.
things. Yeah.
So, did I send you that? I have to go back into my Instagram, my DMs, because
Mm,
we've been sending so many things back
I,
and forth. But there was one about the costumes with the dresses at one of the museums in New
at the
York.
Met.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely. We have to have a live. You know,
Hmm.
some footage
Yeah.
when we are in our style element.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have
Um.
to make that happen. We keep saying it. We need to just pick
Absolutely.
a
We have
date.
to. It's the season. Literally, it's the season. Let's pick a date. It's warm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it happen
Okay. All
for
right.
sure.
So great chat. So if
Thank you for having
people want
me.
to find you, Libre, where can they find you?
So I'm on IG at beloved underscore upcycle. Same thing on TikTok, Facebook, Beloved Upcycle. My website is www.belovedupcycle.com. Check out what I've made, check out what I've had for sale, what I have for sale. Look me up. Highlight your girl.
And we'll be back talking about one thing or another. Maybe it's Bridgerton, maybe it's and just like that when it comes back. We'll see,
Right. Oh, definitely we have to just like that because the style for just like that, and even just Sex in the City, if we went in the
Yeah.
archives, you know?
What so who's your breakout style favorite in just like that, or is it still Sarah Jessica Parker? I'm not saying it ever
Uh,
was, but who's your favorite style person?
it's it's Carrie.
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is. I like
Lisa Todd
uh,
Wexley.
yeah, I liked her too. But I definitely gravitate more towards Sarah Jessica, even in her day to day. You know what I mean? Her actual style outside of the show. I like a
Hmm.
lot of the things that she does.
Yeah, she dresses in an interesting way.
Definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like
More
Lisa Todd
often than not,
Wexley.
I like it. Yeah.
I mean, of course, I like Sarah Jessica, but I actually like all of them, to be honest with you. And even
Hmm.
Charlotte, even though she's still preppy and stuff, like her style suits her. And Miranda,
Yeah,
I
it
think,
works for the characters. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
I like Miranda's style better too,
Hmm.
generally in and just like that. So
Yeah.
and Seema, so they all have their own distinct style,
They
and it,
do.
it works for them.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, let's sign off. We're at 57 minutes and 40 now 9 seconds. But thank you, Libre Jones. We will be
Thank
back
you.
another time with more interesting perspectives about style. Um, and stay tuned for more details about additional episodes of The Secrets of Stylish Women. Um, thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Libre. We'll be in touch
Thanks.
soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.